Today on MTG Unpacked, we're getting stuck into the new Streets of New Capenna Commander decks. So we're starting off here with Riveteers Rampage, and the commander here is Henzi Toolbox Torre. And I thought this was interesting. Includes Collector Booster Sample Pack. So legendary 2 traditional foils. Interesting. So this guy, say hello to my massive friends. So I'm betting there's going to be a lot of big dudes in here. 100 card deck with 15 new cards, deck box, 10 double-sided token cards, foil etched display, commander life foil, strategy insert reference card, and the sample pack. Alright, so let's get into this. So we've got the convenient pull tab on the bottom. Trying to be a little more environmentally friendly these days. And there's the deck. And you'll notice the foil there, that's just printed on there. We've got some tokens, punch outs. Oh, what are those? Those look, oh, those are foil? That's new, okay. And looks like a divider or something there. Okay, liking what we've got here so far. And here is presumably one of the characters. An interesting box. What is this? Okay, looks like they've got a bit of a manufacturing issue there. Okay, wizards, what is going on? So we've got a divider. Here's our life wheel. So this thing goes up to, I'm guessing it goes up to 40 if I can move it. Yep, 40, all right. And here we have, what is this? A bit about the deck, I'm guessing. Riveteer Rampage. Okay, so playing the deck. Some rules about Commander if you're new to the format. And then on the other side we have Henzi Toolbox Torres. So some lore about that character. Shifty looking bloke, I would say. Okay, and then I'm excited about this sampler, this collector booster thing. So we have opened some of those already. So we get, okay, so we get one of those. It's like a mini version. Okay, so we'll open this first. So they fold it up. Let's see what we get in here. This is the first time they've done this. So I think they want to encourage people to check out the collector boosters. Okay, so they've hidden it. What do we? Oh, that's just a ad card. Okay, so here we have Errant Street Artist. So this is a foil rare. Okay, and nothing on the other side. And Sky Bridge Towers. Okay, so just a little taste of collector booster there. Nothing too crazy, although maybe they have juiced some of them up. We'll be opening the rest of the commander decks in the next day or so, so stay tuned. And then there should be a thick card here, which somebody said you could put this in your deck and use it. No, it's a display commander. So it's a foil etched thick cardboard. That would be really easy to find. And then we'll separate out the lands just to keep things organized. So lands and tokens. Alright, so let's get into the deck here. Starting off with a foil mythic. Henzi Toolbox Torre, 3/3/3. Legendary creature Devil Rogue. And look at that, I like how they've got the stamp on there. Each creature spell you cast with mana value 4 or greater has Blitz. What is this? The Blitz cost is equal to its mana cost. You may choose to cast that spell for its Blitz cost. If you do, it gains haste. And when this creature dies, draw a card. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Blitz costs you pay costs 1 less for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Okay, so he gets more and more out of control as the game progresses. Another foil mythic. The Beamtown Bullies. Legendary creature Ogre Devil Warrior. 4/4 for 4 vigilance and haste. Tap target opponent whose turn it is. Puts target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under their control. It gains haste Goad it. At the beginning of the next end step, exile it. So until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. So that is goading. Okay, glittering stockpile artifact treasure. You can pay 3, tap to add red, put a stash counter on glittering stockpile, and tap it, sack it. You get to add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of stash counters on glittering stockpile. Interesting. So you're saving that mana for later. And is this? No, that is not a foil. I thought it might have been. Riveteers Charm. It's an instant for 3. Choose one. Target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker they control with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Or exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next end step. You may play those cards or exile target player's graveyard. So a nice menu of options there. Riveteers Overlook. It's a land. When it enters battlefield, sacrifice it. When you do, search your library for a basic swamp, mountain or forest card. Put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, and you gain 1 life. Artisan of Kozilek. Okay, we've got some Eldrazi action here. 10-9 for 9. When you cast a spell, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Has Annihilator 2. Whenever this creature attacks, defending player sacrifices 2 permanents. What? That's pretty crazy. We've got Victimize. Sorcery for 3. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. And Explore. Sorcery for 2. You may play an additional land this turn. Draw a card. Farseek. A sorcery for 2. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp or mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Garruk's Uprising. Enchantment for 3. When it enters battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. And I think we're going to see a lot of big beaters in this deck. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters battlefield under your control, draw a card. Holy moly, a lot of card draw on green. That's interesting. Indrik Stomp Howler. Creature beast 4/4 for 5. When it enters battlefield, destroy a target artifact or enchantment. Kodama's Reach. This is a nice one. Sorcery Arcane for 3. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal them and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Migration Path. Sorcery for 4. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. You can cycle it for 2. Overgrown Battlement. Creature Wall 0/4 for 2. Defender. Tap to add green for each creature with Defender you control. Rampant Growth. Sorcery for 2. Search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Temur Sabertooth. Been a while since I've seen this one. Creature Cat 4/3 for 4. For 1 and a green, you may return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Temur Sabertooth gains indestructible until end of turn. Death Reap Ritual. Enchantment for 4. Has Morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may draw a card. Terminate. Instant for 2. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. And of course, the ever-present Arcane Signet artifact for 2. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. You're probably going to put that in just about every deck you build. Commander's Sphere. Artifact for 3. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And if you sack it, draw a card. Here's another auto-include. We got Bellowing Mauler. Creature Ogre Warrior 4/6 for 5. At the beginning of your end step, each player loses 4 life unless they sacrifice a non-token creature. Brutal. Protection Racket. Enchantment for 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, repeat the following process for each opponent in turn order. Reveal the top card of your library. That player may pay life equal to that card's mana value. If they do, exile that card, otherwise put it into your hand. Wave of Rats. Love it. Creature Rat 4/2 for 4 with trample. When it dies, if it dealt combat damage to a player this turn, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. And it has Blitz for 4 and a black, so we heard about that earlier. Industrial Advancement. Enchantment for 4. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And Mezio Mugger. Creature Viashino Rogue 3/3 for 5. So whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. You may play those cards this turn, and you may spend mana, resort, or mana of any color to cast those spells. Blitz for 2 and a red. Reign of Riches, enchantment for 5. So when it enters battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens, and the first spell you cast each turn that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has Cascade. Okay, so when you cast this spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Turf War, enchantment for 5. When it enters battlefield, for each player, put a contested counter on target land that player controls. Interesting. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, if that player controls one or more lands with contested counters on them, that creature's controller gains control of one of those lands of their choice and untaps it. We got a Kaldaya Guardian creature, human soldier, 4/3 for 4. So whenever it or another creature you control with mana value 4 or greater dies, create 2 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens, has Blitz for 2 and a green. Dodgy Jalopy. Artifact vehicle, star 5 for 3, has trample. Its power is equal to the highest mana value among creatures you control. You crew it for 3 and it has scavenge for 2 and a green. So you pay that, exile this card from your graveyard. You get to put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to this card's power on target creature. Scavenge only as a sorcery. Is that a new mechanic? I haven't heard of that one before. First Responder. Creature Ogre Citizen, 3/3 for 4 with Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, you may return another creature you control to its owner's hand. Then put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that creature's power on First Responder. Next of Kin, enchantment aura for 3, enchant creature. When the enchanted creature dies, you may put a creature card you own with lesser mana value from your hand or from the command zone onto the battlefield. If you do, return Next of Kin to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. Grime Gorger, creature horror, 3/3 for 4 with menace. So whenever it attacks, exile up to 1 card of each card type from defending player's graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on Grime Gorger for each card exiled this way. Sometimes the trash throws you out. And Jolene, the Plunder Queen, legendary creature, human warrior, 2/2 for 4. Whenever a player attacks one or more of your opponents, that attacking player creates a treasure token. If you create 1 or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional treasure token. Sacrifice 5 treasures, put 5 +1/+1 counters on Jolene. So you're probably going to want to use that in Treasure Matters decks. Next we have Riveteers Confluence, sorcery for 5. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Riveteers Confluence deals 1 damage to each creature and planeswalker you don't control. Or you may put a land card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Weathered Sentinels, artifact creature wall, 2/5 for 3 with Defender, Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. Whoa! It can attack players who attacked you during their last turn as though it didn't have Defender, and whenever Weathered Sentinels attacks, it gets +3/+3 and gains indestructible until end of turn. So it's like the statues come to life and whack you. Ether Snap, sorcery for 5. Remove all counters from all permanents and exile all tokens. We got a Deathbringer Regent. Creature Dragon, 5/6 for 7 with flying. When it enters battlefield, if you cast it from your hand and there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, destroy all other creatures. Disciple of Bolus. Creature human wizard, 2/1 for 4. So when it enters battlefield, sacrifice another creature, you gain X life and draw X cards where X is that creature's power. And a mythic. Noxious Gearhulk, artifact creature construct, 5/4 for 6 with menace. When it enters battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. Painful Truth, sorcery for 3, has Converge. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. And Blasphemous Act, sorcery for 9. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, and it deals 13 damage to each creature. That is insanity. Chaos Warp, instant for 3. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. It's my mate, Atali Primal Storm, legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur 6646. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. The storm rages and the earth breaks. And we've seen a ton of those out of those Walmart mystery boxes. And we've got another Mythic. Inferno Titan Creature Giant 6646 mana, pay a red. It gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and whenever it enters battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. Stalking Vengeance. What am I looking at? That is weird. Creature avatar 5/5/7 with haste. Whenever another creature you control dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. Warstorm Surge Enchantment for 6. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Alrighty, actually, was that other one? Okay, that previous one there was not a mythic. Avenger of Zendikar. This one is a mythic. Creature elemental 5/5/7. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land you control. And it has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each plant creature you control. Evolutionary Leap. Enchantment for 2. Pay a green, sack a creature. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Another mythic. We got a Giant Adderphage. Creature insect 7/7/7 with trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of Giant Adderphage. Another mythic. What? They are loading this deck up with the mythics. Green Warden of Miraza. Creature elemental 5/4 for 6. When it enters battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand, and when it dies, you may exile it. If you do, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. We got Life's Legacy. Sorcery for 2. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. And Mitotic Slime. Creature Ooze 4/4 for 5. When it dies, create 2/2 green ooze creature tokens. They have, when this creature dies, create 2 1/1 green ooze creature tokens. So it keeps subdividing itself as it dies. That's hilarious. We've got Thragtusk, Creature Beast 5/3 for 5. So when it enters battlefield, you gain 5 life. And when it leaves battlefield, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Tree Shaker Chimera, Creature Chimera 8/5 for 7. All creatures able to block Tree Shaker Chimera do so, and when it dies, draw 3 cards. We got a Woodfall Primus, Creature Treefolk Shaman 6/6/4, 8 mana with trample. When it enters battlefield, destroy target non-creature permanent. And it has Persist, so when this creature dies, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a -1/-1 counter on it. We've got World Shaper, Creature Merfolk Shaman 3/3 for 4. So whenever it attacks, you may mill 3 cards, and when it dies, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And another mythic. Kresh the Bloodbraided, legendary creature Human Warrior 3/3 for 5. So whenever another creature dies, you may put X +1/+1 counters on Kresh the Bloodbraided, where X is that creature's power. And I think we did a Commander Snack video on that guy a while back. Windgrace's Judgment instant for 5. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Lifecrafter's Bestiary, Artifact for 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay green. If you do, draw a card. And Solemn Simulacrum, the Sad Robot, Artifact creature Golem 2/2 for 4. So when it enters battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, and when it dies, you may draw a card. So that was the last main part of the deck. So now we'll take a look at the mana base here. We've got a bunch of basics and non-basics. Starting off with Cinderglade, Land, Mountain, Forest, tap for red or green. Enters battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Exotic Orchard, a land tapped, add 1 mana of any color that and land and opponent controls could produce. Foreboding Ruins. As it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a swamp or mountain card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield. Tap it for black or red. We've got a Game Trail, so you may reveal a mountain or forest. If you don't, enters tapped. Tap for red or green. Kessig Wolf Run. Tap for colorless, and for X, red and green. Tap, target creature gets plus X, +0, and gains trample until end of turn. Mossfire Valley. Land. Pay 1, tap, add red and green. Mosswort Bridge, it's a land, has Hideaway 4, so when this land enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, XL1 face down, and put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Enters the battlefield, tap it for green, and for a green tap, you may play the XL card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 4 or greater. And you're going to have a ton of those in this particular deck. Shadowblood Ridge, it's a land, for 1 tap, add black and red. Another one for black or red. Smoldering Marsh enters battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Spine Rock Knoll has Hideaway 4. When it enters the battlefield, it's tapped. Tap for red and pay red. Tap, you may play the XL card without paying its mana cost if an opponent was dealt 7 or more damage this turn. Temple of Malady enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap for black or green. Twilight Mire, tap for colorless, or pay black or green, tap, get to add 2 black, 2 green, or black and green. We've got a Felwa Stone artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. So these are colorless ones, or any color I should say, you can use in any deck, along with a Soul Ring. This is pretty much a commander staple, artifact for 1. Tap for 2 colorless. Ash Barrens, so you tap for colorless basic land cycling 1. So you pay 1, discard this card, you get search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Blighted Woodland, tap for colorless for 3 and a green, tap, sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Command Tower Land, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Jund Panorama, tap for colorless for 1, tap, sack it, search your library for basic swamp, mountain, or forest card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So Jund is another name for the Riveteer colors. We've got Myriad Landscape, enters battlefield, tap it for colorless for 2, tap, sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Path of Ancestry, a land, enters battlefield, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And when that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. We've got Savage Lands, it's a land, enters battlefield, tap for black, red, or green. Temple of the False God, tap for 2 colors, activate only if you control 5 or more lands. Thriving Bluff, enters battlefield tapped. As it enters battlefield, choose a color other than red. Tap to add red or 1 mana of the chosen color. We've got a Thriving Grove, enters battlefield tapped. As it enters battlefield, choose a color other than green. Tap to add green or 1 mana of the chosen color. And Thriving Moor. Okay, so these are all similar theme here. Enters tapped. As it enters battlefield, choose a color other than black. Add black or 1 mana of the chosen color. And then basic swamps. 3 of those, mountains. 4 of those, forests. 5 of those, and you also get, let's check this out, you get some full art lands here. We've got a swamp, a mountain, and forest. So that is a nice touch there. Get you into playing those. And let's take a look at the tokens here. So we have a 2/2 Ooze. This is a creature that splits itself up as it dies. Treasure. So tap, sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. We've got some more Ooze and Treasure. We're going to have a lot of those, I suspect. So what is that? 4 so far. 5, 6. Okay, Citizen 1/1 on the other side. We've got a Plant 0/1. So 2 of those. Beast 3/3. On the other side, another Plant. more treasure just in case you're running out, another plant, and some punch out tokens here, 1/1s. And on the other side we've got the Riveteers, it's actually that way around, Riveteers symbol, and parts of your turn, and popular magic formats. So this actually looks like a fun deck. So lots of stuff going on, got some card draw, beefy creatures, lots of direct damage. I think this would probably be my favorite of the bunch. Let me know what you think, and stay tuned. We're going to be cracking open the rest of the Commander decks this weekend. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.